The year is 2013. You're waiting for the biggest game of the year to drop. Or if you're me, the second biggest game of the year. It's only March and the next generation of console gaming is just a few months away. And so the time has come for you to make a choice as to the world that's gonna hold you over till then. You might decide to occupy the deep reaches of space where screams go unheard. Or maybe you plan to exact revenge on some powerful Greek gods that have wronged you. Or you might just want to be a cool cyber assassin and dice everything you see like it's a round of Fruit Ninja. Whatever you decide to play, one thing was made perfectly clear. There's a lot of really good games to choose from. And today, that brings me to one of the games I chose. Tomb Raider.
She's coming! Take her out!
So the reason I decided to unearth this old gem is because of this little comment here from that guy 31555. It's a response to South of Midnight's lackluster gameplay loop and how they need to do a little bit more than just a great story to get him hooked. How he would rather play something like the God of War or Tomb Raider games. I agree with this comment. Both these games have great stories and great gameplay. And that got me thinking, is the 2013 Tomb Raider game really as good as I remember it? It's weird because I remember having an absolute blast with it, whereas the Uncharted trilogy, which was inspired by the old Tomb Raider games, never really quite piqued my interest. A lot of it came down to the tone. Uncharted had Nathan Drake, a suave and quippy jokester, and adventures were very Indiana Jones-ish, which once again were movies I never really took to. Then on the other hand, you had Tomb Raider, a reboot that promised to be grounded, darker and grittier than the Uncharted games. This was more my speed, as the game was more heavily focused on things like scrappy tooth and nail combat, tighter shooting, upgradable skills, survival and in some cases horror elements, which is also very much up my alley. A dozen years later and I decided to give it another go. Surprisingly, it holds up way better than you might expect.
Now you die!
Once again, the time has come for me to ask you to please leave a like on this video, as you know it helps me push it a lot further. And with that, let's get back to the video.
Sometimes you've got to make sacrifices, Lara. You can't save everyone.
I know about sacrifices.
No, you know about loss. Sacrifice is a choice you make. Loss is a choice made for you.
I can't choose to let him die, Roth.
First of all, if you haven't played the game before, you owe it to yourself to play it. I assure you, you will not be disappointed. Look, I might be getting into some minor spoilers, so consider this your spoiler warning. With that, let's get into it. So, if you haven't been convinced to play this game, consider this, and this might be my strongest selling point. Tomb Raider will run you an average of 10 to 12 hours to complete. That in itself, to me at least, is music to my ears. With the hour to dollar ratio discussion becoming more prevalent in game marketing and development, it's nice to play something that isn't padded out with unstimulating downtime. Too often in modern games are we subjected to the in-between moments of these AAA blockbuster titles. You know, the calm before the storm moments. Like the walking simulator segment where you're forced to follow an NPC while they force feed you exposition. Or the spin-off side quest that deliberately halts momentum just as the story starts to pick up. Look, I'm not saying all filler is bad, sometimes they add to the anticipation and even enhance the thrill of the impending rollercoaster ride. But lately I've noticed a trend where progression is deliberately halted to pad out game time. This is not the case with Tomb Raider. From the very get-go, you're essentially strapped into a 10-hour breakneck rollercoaster that doesn't let up until the ride is over. And when I say breakneck, I do mean violent. Because young Lara Croft is put through the ringer in this one. Not only does she have to deal with the immense amount of guilt and emotional turmoil, but it seems the elements are actively out to kill her, sometimes in the most gruesome ways. She gets stabbed, slapped, beaten, bruised, impaled, shot, squashed, not to mention that incident with the bear trap. And still she gets up, determined to atone for a grave decision to redirect the ship through dangerous waters. Tomb Raider tells the origin story of how this young and inexperienced Lara evolves into the hardened badass we know her to be. As far as the combat goes, you might be inclined to think that an action shooter from 2013 might be outdated by today's standards, and I wouldn't blame you, but let me tell you, it holds up surprisingly well. Gunplay feels tight, crunchy, and rewards precision and steady hands. Unfortunately, you're locked into 4 weapon types, being the pistol, automatic rifle, shotgun, and of course, the bow, which is the standard of the lot. And I've said it before, if the game has a bow, you've already hooked me. And this one does not disappoint. The bow is extremely versatile and fun to use. Apart from the satisfaction you get from driving your arrow through the neck of your enemy for a one-shot kill, you can also use the bow to strike nearby objects and walls to create short distractions, as well as set things on fire, detonate red video game barrels, or straight up tear down the foundation of your enemy and send them falling to their doom. Impossible as that may seem, but damn if it isn't fun. As I mentioned, there's only 4 weapons to choose from, but as you progress through the game, you'll acquire weapon parts, which after collecting the required amount, will upgrade your weapon and allow for new upgrades to be made to it, while retaining the old ones as well. The upgrades are substantial enough to ensure you make a concerted effort in collecting upgrade material at regular intervals. Apart from collecting salvage for weapon upgrades, you'll be looking to gain survivor points to improve Lara's survivability and combat prowess. These include things like increased carrying capacity, more options for close quarters combat, and various survival bonuses. You do this by hunting animals, finding collectibles and supply boxes, and by completing various side objectives like lighting statues or burning effigies. These improvements take Lara from a scrappy fighter to a dangerous force to be reckoned with, and you're gonna need all the help you can get, because the island is an extremely dangerous place, as enemies come in all shapes and sizes, ranging from light armored maniacs with machetes who rush you on sight, to bow-wielding snipers that hold cover waiting for you to screw up. The threats you face do a great job of keeping you on your toes at all times, as some of them rush you, others will hang back and try to flush you out with explosives, waiting for you to give up your cover. Combat is fun, challenging and engaging, thanks to the varied and coordinated enemies, interactive environmental hazards, and seat of your pants action that constantly forces you to adapt to the dangers presented. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the game doesn't like to waste your time. And by that I mean, the game progresses in a mostly linear path, which is on par for this genre of game. But as the name implies, you're gonna need to raid tombs at some point. These can be found scattered around the world and are completely optional, but extremely rewarding and highly recommended. These physics-based puzzles aren't super hard, but they are quite satisfying when you figure them out. Plus they reward you with skill points which are really useful. They also do well to provide you a short reprieve from the chaos of the main story path, which if you really want to stick to, you can beeline from start to finish. Though you will be missing out on all that sweet salvage and experience points. But if you do decide to step off the gas, there's ample opportunities for you to take a breather and explore the more open areas. At any point between the story chapters, you can freely fast travel to any discovered campfire sites to complete tombs and hunt for collectibles you may have missed. Also, you might discover completely new pathways that only become accessible once you have the right tools for the job. Finally, we arrive at my favorite segment, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Let's start with the graphics. Over a decade later and the game still looks great. I played on PC if that wasn't clear, with the graphics set to max, and in my opinion, it still looks better than a lot of games from the past 5 years. One thing that doesn't hold up is this annoying bug that pushes your notifications off screen. I don't think it's an issue on the console versions, but on PC it's quite annoying. Apart from the off-screen shenanigans, the game is still a bit buggy overall. Sometimes the lighting might go out of whack or the physics while clamoring might glitch out. It's nothing game breaking, but it is quite frequent. One minor gripe I had, and I think it might have been because I played it on hard, is that the QTEs or the quick time events is not always immediately clear about which button you need to spam. It alternates between E and F on PC, and when you're caught up in the moment, it can often kill the momentum when you fail the QTE to find out you are mashing the wrong button the whole time. Honestly, there's not much I can fault this game on. I do have minor issues with the supporting cast and some of the character development, but they don't really distract from the overall narrative, which is, in my opinion, very well done.
Good Lord, cut! 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 Cut!
Its adrenaline-fueled action movie style structure, combined with the development of this young and inexperienced Lara, makes for an incredibly well-realized origin story of gaming's most recognizable adventurer.
You can do it, Laura. After all, you're a Croft.
I don't think I'm that kind of Croft.
Sure you are. You just don't know it yet.
That's it for this one. I want to thank you if you made it this far, and leave a like if you can, you know, it really helps me out. If you've recently played the Tomb Raider games, especially the first one, let me know what you think of it. And if you didn't play it, I highly recommend you do that right now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.